Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable Kiai Haji Mutawakil Allah SHMM, as a chairman of the caregivers and chairman of the Zainul Hasan Genggong Education Foundation. Honorable Mr. Dr. Abdul Aziz B.An. AG, as director of Zainul Hasan Genggong Islamic University. Honorable Mr. Dr. Muhammad Hibdil Islam MPDI and Mr. Ahmad Khalili MPD as the final project supervisor. Honorable to my parents were very instrumental in making this article. My name is Oktavia Margaretha. I'm from the English department of the General TADRIS faculty. With this video, I'm eligible to become one of the sempro participants in 2023-2024. In this sempro test, I will use an article which is proof of LOA and proof of publication as attached. I will start by mentioning the title of the article that I published, namely, The Effectiveness of Talking Stick Method in Improving Speaking Skills Student at MA Uswatun Hasanah. With the selection of the title with several reasons, the first is why did I research speaking skill at MA Uswatun Hasanah? Because based on the survey on observation and the result of interviews with subject teachers state that students at MA Uswatun Hasanah still have difficulty in mastering speaking skill, and also with the existence of the school which is in the shade of pesantren, so that English language course are not too focused in this school. Secondly, why did I choose the talking stick method in my research? Because this method is a student-centered method, so that student can participate fully in learning English speaking skill. Besides, this method has never been applied at MA Uswatun Hasanah. So, this is my interest in researching whether this method is effective for the development of speaking student there and how much the effectiveness of this method. The following is a systematic preparation of articles, namely abstract, introduction, then methodology, finding and discussion, conclusion, and the last is reference. I will start from the introduction in my article. There are two variables, namely variable X and variable Y, whereas the variable X is talking stick method and variable Y is speaking skill. I took several opinions, one of which was conveyed by Mirza Agli about speaking, which reads speaking is a method or way to express ideas, message, and information using language built in a communication with others. Teacher can be declared successful in teaching speaking skill when students are able to get a message conveyed by the teacher and can be understood and applied correctly by student. According to Hanha Islam MH and Ferdianto, also state in their research that there are two factors that affect student speaking skill, namely internal and external factors. The internal factors is when students feel bored and lazy to read and add their vocabulary, so that they have difficulty in speaking due to lack of vocabulary. Furthermore, the external factor is when the teacher uses Indonesian language in teaching English and only given 2 hours in 1 week, so that students lack time to be able to practice speaking skill well. Based on observation made by researchers at MA Uswatun Hasanah, the results show that students at MA Uswatun Hasanah have difficulty in speaking due to several factors, namely lack of vocabulary, fear of performing in front of the class, difficulty in pronouncing English, use of the wrong or less interesting teaching method, so that some of these factors make students feel less like English lesson. Especially in speaking, even though it can be said that of the 4 skills in this English, they still cannot fully master both speaking skill, writing skill, listening skill, and reading skill. So, based on this problem, on the research choose the turning step method, which is student-centered method, so that students can play an active role in speaking class. Talking stick is a method that belongs to cooperative learning. The way to do the serve in the class method is by using a stick. There, the stick will be run to each student, and whoever gets the stick must answer the question given by the teacher. With a way that is quick fun for students by this talking stick method, this method can be expected to improve student speaking skill at MA Uswatun Hasanah. So it can be said that the formulation of the problem in this study is 2, namely whether this method is an effective method in improving speaking skill of students in MA Uswatun Hasanah, and second, is how much the effectiveness is given by the talking stick method in improving speaking skills student in MA Uswatun. And for the previous study conducted by Saihu using quantitative method, such as a quasi-experimental study with a non-equivalent control group design, has shown that the result of this research is the students who have studied using the talking stick model perform significantly better than those who use conventional techniques. In addition, Barus conducted research at the junior high school level. The result is before the talking stick method, the average score was 52 and the classical competence was 20%, but after the implementation, there was a significant improvement in study test research. The study used a descriptive qualitative method and obtained the result of student speaking skill in responding to student short stories increased after applying the talking stick method. Last but not least, a study was conducted by Sari in a senior high school class using a mixed method approach. The result of the study is the study found that the talking stick method can enhance students' speaking skill, while the teacher's teaching material, interaction, role, and techniques can also impact their speaking abilities. Therefore, the novelty is this study proposed using quantitative methods along with interview instruments to gain a better understanding of the effectiveness of the talking stick method in improving students' speaking ability. Aiding interview will provide direct insight into the experience and view of students and teachers on the learning method under study, enriching the quantitative analysis. Thus, this research is expected to offer a more comprehensive understanding of the effectiveness of talking stick method in context of classroom learning, making a unique contribution to the field. The second is methodology. Furthermore, in the research method in this study, I use quantitative method with a quasi-experimental design. For treatment testing, I used the one group pretest post-test technique because the population at MA Uswatun Hasanah School is relatively small, and if I have to use a control group and experimental group, then at least I have two classes with the same grades such as grade 11A and 11B. But in this school, it only consists of three classes, namely grade 10, 11, and 12. Each only has one class and each class only consists of 16 until 25 students. Due to the shortage of students here too, so I use a sampling technique used, namely simple random sampling using lottery technique used so that all population have the opportunity to be sampled so that in my research it is not focused on just one class, but from all the class with the representative of each class. The taken in this study were 30 students, which can be said it fulfilled the requirements for sampling in quantitative method. The instrument used in this study is a speaking assessment, namely the reload test, where with the shortcoming of students in speaking, so that the researcher chooses this assessment to be able to get the data needed in the pre-test and post-test. In addition, the data collection used in this study is observation and interview that can strengthen the statistical result obtained from SPSS calculation. Before the instrument used in this study were launched to the student, the researchers test the validity and reliability of the instrument used based on the result of SPSS calculation. The instrument used were valid and also reliable with a percent correlation value of +1, so that it could be said to be a valid and a reliability value of 0,985, so that the value was greater than 0,70. So the instrument, it can be said the instrument is reliability and valid. So that is my presentation about my article. So if I have a mistake, I say sorry. So I'm Oktavia MARGARETHA. The last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.